So I want to request, because we are starting in the next 2 minutes, those going for the Sinopec contractors breakout session, please head there. Katonga Hall upstairs. And those staying here for the Mcdermott contractors session, kindly take your seats. Very good. All right. Okay, so we shall get started shortly. Just a reminder, I've been asked to remind because some people are still wanting to know where to head. The Sinopec contractors breakout session is upstairs in the Katonga Hall. But right here in this room, we're having the Mcdermott contractors breakout session. So those staying with us, please feel free to take your seats so that we can proceed. Okay, so since yesterday we have been listening to quite a number of speakers on the theme of this 8th annual Oil and Gas Convention, maximizing national content and value retention. And I do believe that each and every one of us is interested in knowing how we can be part and parcel of the oil and gas industry. What opportunities exist? Yesterday, we listened to the IOCs. We listened to Total. We also did listen to Sinuk and the UNOC as well, and the ECOP. They did present their opportunities. They did present what they are doing and made a commitment to national content. Today morning, we listened to majorly the Tier 1 contractors, that is Mcdermott and Sinopec. And they have broken down what opportunities exist for in their scope of work, and at the end of it all, also introduced some of their contractors. So we are going to have an opportunity to listen to those contractors, because the contractors of the Tier 1 contractors, that's Mcdermott and Sinopec, also do have opportunities. And the opportunities that are available for Tier 2 and Tier 3 contractors that we can be part of. So that is what we want to do in this next session. Again, those that are interested in the Sinopec contractors session, it's upstairs in Katonga. And those that are interested in the Mcdermott session, we want to request you to kindly take your seats so that we can get started. My name is Humphrey Asimwe. I am Chief Commercial Officer for Multilines International Limited. Multilines International Limited is a Ugandan company that is involved in logistics, freight forwarding, transport, customs clearance, and warehousing. We have 20 years of experience in this market. We started in June of 2002, and we have been growing in leaps and bounds ever since. We have been involved in the oil and gas sector, in oil and gas logistics, because as a company, even as a national content company, a company that is fully Ugandan, owned by Ugandans, we are a compliant company. We are an authorized economic operator, as well as an ISO certified company with 3 ISO certifications. And so that endears us to this sector. And it is my honor and privilege to be your moderator this afternoon. I'm aware that I'm standing between you and lunch. So we are going to try and make this as painless and as informative and hopefully as interactive as possible. I'm going to be inviting a couple of people to the stage who are already contractors for Mcdermott. Mcdermott did a very good job this morning of sharing their scope and what has already been tendered and what is yet to be tendered. And I think we understand where they are at. And I do believe they are available to network with and get to know and get to understand and get more information. But also in this session, you'll have an opportunity to ask questions. To ask questions not only of Mcdermott, but also of their contractors. So ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite the following to the stage. I want to invite the representative of Cabu-Beta Joint Venture, Dr. Peter Otoki, to come to the stage. I'll give a brief introduction a little later. I want to invite Mr. Wesley Musinga of GCC Services. Kindly come to the stage. Allow me invite as well Ms. Estella Karohanga of Mota-Engil, Uganda, to come to the stage. And it is also my honor and privilege to invite Ms. Rebecca Gargan, I hope I pronounced that right, of United Healthcare Global Medical to the stage. I hope I got that right. I want to also invite Mr. Nicholas Nyaika, of Mantrac, Uganda. Kindly come to the stage. And then I will take the honor and privilege of inviting Dr. Swarupa Deshpande of Bureau Veritas, I believe, to also come to the stage. Now, I also have Dr. Fauz Kavuma of Case Hospital, but I am short of seats here, so Dr. Kavuma, what we'll do is we'll have you close by. If you could come and just take, or if you want to stand with me, which I don't think you are interested in, kindly, yeah, just take the seat over there, and it would be good to hear from you. Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, this represents some of the contractors of Mcdermott that have won tenders, that have won contracts with Mcdermott. And even as we are going to hear from them, we are interested in knowing, are there opportunities? Now here we're talking about tier 3, okay, tier 2 and tier 3. Are there opportunities? Are we able to, are there things we can be involved in? And so each and every one of them is going to tell us about their scope, tell us about what they are doing, and tell us about how we can be involved as we seek to maximize national content. We are also going to be learning lessons from them. First of all, how did you even get there? How did you get that contract? So that maybe another company can learn. Yesterday we had a very brilliant presentation from Total Energies, where they talked about what are some of the landmines that we seem to hit when we are responding to tenders. And I think that was a brilliant presentation that did wake up a number of people. Even as I interacted with them, they said that was the highlight. But today we want to hear from those that have won so far and what they have in store. So without further ado, and also in the interest of time, allow me to invite Dr. Peter Otoki. He is the head of Cabu-Beta Joint Venture, the project director, EPC camp of Tilenga project upstream facilities. He has more than 15 years experience in energy and oil and gas, and is a German and US trained engineer. Dr. Peter is also an advisor to leading science, technology, and engineering companies. He's here representing Cabu-Beta Joint Venture. Dr. Peter, you're welcome to make your presentation. Come on, let's give him a hand, even as he comes to address us and tell us of the opportunities that exist in Cabu-Beta Joint Venture.
All right, so I'll repeat that again. So thank you very much for the generous introduction. A pleasure to be here and to talk about our work at Cabu-Beta as the first large local or regional joint venture that has been awarded the contract from Mcdermott. I will tell you quickly about who we are as CAMOD. We'll describe our project, the contract that we have received, and then we'll share with you lessons learned in execution of the project up to date. So we'll talk about the challenges of getting access to human resources and some of the success that we have had. We'll tell you about our engagement with the local supply chain, as well as some of the community engagements, as well as human and social and environmental development activities. So where we as Cabu-Beta, we are a joint venture, which is in the spirit of Mr. Mwangi's speech this morning. We are a regional, I would say regional success story, right? Because we are CAMOD Kenya, working together with Better Products, which is a 100% Ugandan company. And we came at this, we've both been working on this project for over 3 years, working from different sides. And when the final bid of the project was announced, we decided, why don't we join forces? Because we complement each other. And that's how we came together and applied, and we succeeded in getting the project. So our mission is really about creating beautiful, healthy, as well as green living spaces. And the objective of our project is actually to deliver that for 4,000 workers who are going to deliver the Tilenga project. So this is, while it is not the main scope of the project, but it is important because the workers, the executives of the project, they need a place to stay, a place to rejuvenate and to refresh. And this is the mission and the responsibility that we take very seriously. Can I get to the second or third slide, please? Okay, thank you. So what's our project? I will not dwell too much on it, but I'll talk about it from the perspective of the national as well as the community content. So we are delivering the EPC camp. It's a lump sum project. We will deliver 4,000 living spaces for the workers as well as the executives. We will supply the features, the furniture, the equipment for the living spaces. We will supply other structures as well to make it a comfortable living space. So there will be a mosque, and a church, multi-faith religious center. There will be sports halls. There will be a tavern as well for social activities and all of that. So this is going to be a city that needs to come up within the next roughly 8 months. And as was announced yesterday by the GM of Total, 1,000 beds will be already available by the end of June. So I'll talk quickly about some of the challenges and some of our learnings. So we've had to ramp up very quickly because it's important for us that the living spaces are available, because without this, even as other contracts are awarded, there is no place to accommodate the workers who will deliver the project. So one of the key things we needed to do is to ramp up in talent, hiring of people. And we've managed to hire 230 people, and 90% of these are Ugandans. Roughly 60% are community people from the Albertine region. This is a very challenging task, but working closely with our partners, we've been able to achieve this. And as part of the opportunities, we'll keep working. We have another 100 people or so that are being hired, trained, and onboarded over the course of the next few weeks. So what are the opportunities for you as a community provider of services? There are lots of opportunities to provide furniture, as well as fixtures and equipment, and we have engaged already with some local companies. There are opportunities for various equipment, cranes, and so on and so forth to support the building process, as well as logistics, even medical services and other kinds of services on the ground. Here I show you quickly some of our experiences with human development. I talked about hiring 300 people, 230 of whom have been onboarded, but we are committed to also reskilling, upskilling, and some of what you see here is what's actually going on site. And we thank and really appreciate the support of both Mcdermott and Total. As you can see here, these are on-site trainings. So we train people rigorously as we onboard them, but there's regular training on the site. So what you see at the top there, it's a picture of on-site weekly walkthroughs on HSE. It takes place every week. We walk through, we identify some lessons, what's working well, what's not working well, and the team sits around in cycles and then gets the training on how to improve on health and safety activities. The second picture there was actually a consequence of that. So we had the HSC training, and the focus was on training on heights. But right after then, there was the senior HSC officer of Total was on site and worked with our people to train on how to do the working on site. So you need to look very closely to see the young man there being trained on working on heights. And this is done, together both with contractor Mcdermott as well as with Total. On the right-hand side, you see also some community engagement, a vaccination drive to ensure our workers, our staff, take the opportunity that's being offered to be vaccinated against COVID. Just to close, what are some of the other opportunities and what do you get from working with us? So our mission is to continue to build these spaces, beyond even Tilenga. And as working with us, you get a partner that is fair. We are collaborative, and we work together with our contractors as well to ensure that the right qualifications as well as the right standards are met. We're a great employer of labor. Our senior management are veterans of the oil and gas sector, and they work with us. I talked about the success of hiring from the Albertine region. We were actually very pleasantly surprised that there is a lot of talent there that with just some reskilling, they are able to come up to speed. And then working with us, you are part of an imagined regional success story, right? In the vein of Mr. Mwangi's speech this morning, right? We're building a success story on the ground here together as a joint venture partner. We want to build a company that will continue to do this and continue to grow together with the ecosystem. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Let's give him a hand. Thank you very, very much, Dr. Ing Peter. I think he has pointed out where the opportunities are, and the opportunities are in furniture and fixtures, equipment, logistics, waste management, and the rest. You mentioned you're putting a mosque and a church. I don't know if you're also looking for a pastor and an imam. Those are out there. But we appreciate the fact that 60% of the people that you've hired are from the local community in the Albertine region, which is really, really commendable. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, kindly prepare them. We're going to have a question and answer session for all our panelists. If you feel you need to write the question and not say it out loud, you can write it, and then at some point you'll be able to send it through. I will read it for you. Next, we want to hear from Mr. Wesley Musinga. Mr. Wesley Musinga holds a master's in international business. He's been with GCC Services since 2011 as a director and a shareholder. GCC Services Uganda is doing camp services, and he'll tell us more about that. He currently heads business development and in charge of securing business for the company, and I believe since he's here as a tier 2 supplier or contractor for Mcdermott, it seems you're doing your job very well. Mr. Wesley Musinga, over to you.
Good morning, everybody. Let me tell you about GCC. GCC has been around Uganda. We registered in October 2011. And we've been at the same address for the last 11 years, 12 years now, coming to 12 years, at the same address on plot 12, Wampeo Avenue. For those who have never heard about GCC, who read about it only after this award, please note that we've been around, and we are still stronger here, and we're growing stronger. So who are we, or what do we do? GCC is a very dynamic company, very diverse, and our services, among the few that we do, we design and do design and construction. We did the upgrade of Kisinja and Blissa Camp. These are currently, one is owned by Total and another one owned by Sinok currently. And we did the construction. This was in 2013. So we also do life support services. Among life support, we do catering services, labor supply, housekeeping, waste management. We also do facilities maintenance and operation. And among the things we do, the most complicated one is maybe STP and RO plants. The rest are STPs are what we call sewage treatment plants, and RO is reverse osmosis. These are water treatment plants. But because these sites and camps are so remote, you don't have national water to deliver the services. So we bring all these facilities closer to the people in the camps. If I may give you a proper example of a camp, it's like taking this hotel and taking it to a remote site and offering the same services that you see in this 5-star hotel. We deliver the same in all our remote sites that we work in. Then we do supply, food supply, fuel distribution, logistics. We are very compliant with the ISO, and we've done, and we are very well certified with the ISO 9001, ISO 22000. We have health and safety management systems also in place. So this is a picture of what the facilities look like. The other picture is of a warehouse where we do warehouse management. We build warehouses. You all have to do is bring in your cargo. We'll do the cargo management, fast in, fast out. We do catering, we do camp building. And these are still some of the pictures of some of the works we've done. So this is GCC's experience. These are some of the companies, among the few we've worked with. We've worked with so many. Shell, Eni, Gazprom, Schlumberger, Tullow before they were here, because all the two camps that we built by then were owned by Tullow. And more US Army. So now let's look at figures. During these contracts that we have, we want to show you what Ugandans will benefit. We intend to recruit about 300 people. That's about, exact number is about 229. And from the community, the areas we are working in, these are about 6 districts: Chikube, Masindi, Bulisa, Moya. Okay, you know all of them. We intend to recruit 48% of our workers will originate from these areas, and the 52% will be from the rest of the country. Now, secondly, we need to tell you that GCC is a company that is all embracing that out of these numbers that we are going to recruit, 50% will be women or ladies. 30% later will be involved in the direct management of the company. 30%. We recruit 50% of this number will be ladies or women. 30% management is by women. If we have like 10 departments, 30%, that's about 3 of them, 3 departments, will be headed by ladies. This is about purchases. Community purchases will be about 20. 50% will be national purchases. 30 will be imports for things that we can't find locally in Uganda. The next slide shows our purchases in consumables and non-consumables. Building construction, 75% will be from the community that we are working in. 25% will be nationwide. Fresh fruits and vegetables, 47% will be from the community, 53% from the rest of the country. Soft drinks, 70%. The sodas, the water, all the beverages we intend to, 70% to come from the community. So among the dry rations, we have 48% will be from the community. Cleaning supplies, detergents. Then we go to PPE, 30% from the local community. Material handling equipment, 50% will be from national sources. And the vehicles will all be procured from within Uganda. So, what does the community or Uganda benefit from this project? There'll be a lot of technology transfer. We'll be training the community, the people we recruit. Since you've seen the figures, they'll not only stop at getting salaries, they'll get some skills passed on to them, and they'll benefit from that. And there will be continuous training and certification for the workers. We bring them in. Some can come in, he knows the skill of driving, but he's not certified. We'll help them get certified. We'll do defensive driving, certification, and all the certification that is continuous. So we'll always be doing supplier development initiatives, where we'll be contacting the community based on the figures I've shown you. We'll always go back to the community to inform them what we need and we expect them to supply. Not only that, we'll enrich the people. The people will have some income. They'll have a steady income. We'll try to improve their livelihood. Everything will be better and much better. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Musinga. Let's give him a bigger clap than that. I think you've seen the opportunities that exist, okay, from GCC Services, Uganda, and it is, I think, prudent to be able to express interest and be involved. And some of the things that Mr. Musinga mentions are things that probably need constant supply, not just a one-off. And I believe that was something that Mr. Agre Ashaba mentioned yesterday, that to be able to bid and not just do a one-off supply, but be able to maintain those supplies. I think that's very important. You've mentioned to highlight that 48% of the workers for GCC will be from the community, from the 6 districts in the Albertine Graben, which is commendable. 50% of the staff, women, which is very good, so women are not left out. And I think a further commitment that 30% of management, is it? 30% of management will be women, okay? Which is very, very good and quite commendable. So thank you very, very much for this. Ladies and gentlemen, next, allow me invite 2 people. One is Ms. Rebecca Gagan, who is the Global Business Development Director for United Healthcare Global Medical. Rebecca has over 20 years experience working in the remote healthcare field. Remote. Supporting clients in their design, implementation, and management of their healthcare needs all across the globe. She's going to be co-presenting with Dr. Fauz Kavuma, the Business Development Manager of Case Hospital. Dr. Fauz is a medical doctor who has over 7 years experience working in both public and private medical practice, specializing in health economics and policy in the latter years. Uganda Healthcare Global Medical as well as Case Hospital are in joint venture, and I believe you'll be telling us more about that. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a hand as they make their presentation.
Great, well, thank you. We are delighted to have the opportunity to introduce our joint venture to everybody here today. United Healthcare Global Medical of the UK and Case Hospital of Uganda. Next slide. United Healthcare, formerly known as Frontier Medex, was established in the mid-80s, and they specialized in providing remote healthcare services. We, oh, sorry. I'm too short. That's the problem. We're members of the International Oil and Gas Producers Health Subcommittee and have been for over 20 years and provide a lot of support on their guidance documents. In 2009, we were awarded our first contract here in Uganda with Tullow Oil to manage their field medical services. We established a nationalization program, and we provided additional clinical training and a mentorship program in the region of 10 Ugandan doctors to meet the international requirements that Tullow put forward. All of the positions from 2011 till 2016 were held by Ugandan nationals, and many of these doctors still work with us today, whether that's on projects here or on international assignments. As a business, we've been here for a long time now, and we are 100% committed to the local content and capacity building initiatives that the government has put forward. Fauz?
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here. Dr. Fauz Kavuma, once again, Business Development Manager at Case Hospital. Case Hospital was established in 1995 and most commonly known in the country as Case Clinic. Most people have failed to move on, but we've moved on to a 120-bed facility. We have a stronghold as a one-stop center. This is for most of your needs in terms of health. We have set up specialist care, key for the Ugandans, and later this month we should open up our open heart surgery and catheter laboratory, which should be the first for the open heart surgery besides the Heart Institute, and the 4th cath lab in the country. So we should be able to have most of these interventional heart procedures done in the country without the need to move out of the country. We are ISO certified for quality management, and we have a vision to definitely attain the pinnacle of medicine. I would also like to tell you that Case Hospital is the biggest local content hospital in the country, privately owned by a Ugandan, Dr. Abdul Katose Bali, our Chief Executive Officer. And our mission is to provide quality health services in a professional and friendly environment. Rebecca.
So a brief overview of the scope of work that we've been awarded. It's going to provide a 24/7, 365 primary and emergency care facility to the workforce. It's going to be split across both sites, so we will have a clinic in the north with our main clinic facility being in the south. The capability of the clinic in the south will be quite significant. It will have a digital x-ray, it will have a laboratory, it will have an on-site pharmacy and multiple bed overnight capability. There will be an ambulance at both of the sites, which will be with a driver, and then we are responsible for the medical evacuation as well. So as we previously mentioned, we are 100% committed to the national content strategy. As part of our solution, there is 90% of the positions will be going directly to Ugandan nationals from day one. We have over 80% of the items that are required to equip these clinic facilities available to purchase in country. And we're currently working with Mcdermott to finalise the community initiative programmes that we'll be doing with them in conjunction together to make sure that they're aligned. So as you can see, the majority of the project is around field staff and majority clinical field staff, with the larger site having also non-clinical positions too. Next one. So currently there are, as we've just mentioned, a number of project positions available. We have one Kampala-based that's non-clinical. We've got 2 non-clinical that are in the field, and then we are always looking for additional clinical staff to fill the positions. We will advertise them through various means, both through Case Hospital and United Healthcare's websites on the job applications and through various social media campaigns. But both myself and Dr. Fowles are here for the rest of the day and happy to share with you our contact details. And that's us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam Rebecca Gagan and Dr. Fowles Kavuma from United Healthcare Global Medical and Case Hospital, I believe a joint venture working together. I think what we are hearing here is that there are opportunities. There are opportunities for Ugandans who can be employed by this joint venture, committed to have 90% national content in terms of Ugandans employed in your sites in the north and in the south of Tilenga. And so thank you very, very much for that. Next, I would want to invite someone from Mantrac. He's by the name of Mr. Nyaika Nicholas. He's the Power Systems Manager of Mantrak Uganda Limited. He's an electrical engineer with a Master's of Science in Engineering and an MBA, a project management professional. He's a member of the Chartered Institute of Purchase and Supply Chain Management, MSIPS. He has experience in EPC contracting for standby and off-grid power generation, using diesel generators and solar PV systems. He's here representing Mantrak Uganda Limited. Is going to tell us about the scope of work and the opportunities that exist in Mantrak so that we can see how we can plug in. You're welcome, Mr. Nyaika. Let's give him a hand.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm privileged to be here today. In regards to Mantrak Uganda Limited, I'll give a brief introduction about us. Mantrak Uganda Limited is a company that has been in existence for over 40 years. We were registered in 1977. We have existence in about 11 countries and exist on 3 continents globally. As a company, we pride ourselves in dealing in a number of power generation and construction equipment, mainly machines, construction machinery, power generators, material handling equipment, and some mining equipment. Under our construction segment, Mantrak Uganda stocks wheel loaders, excavators, backhoes, graders, and bulldozers. Under our power system segment, we mainly deal in diesel generators and some PV systems. As a company, we have gained experience in the oil and gas sector, and we have been supporting oil and gas operations in other countries other than Uganda, and it's our honor and privilege to be part of this transition in Uganda at the moment. The generators we provide for the oil and gas sector are not only limited to diesel generators. We also have generators that run on crude oil. We have generators that run on other gases, including blending fuels. So our product range is wide, and we're able to provide a wide portfolio for a number of applications, ranging from providing engines for gas compressors, air compressors, and standby power. As a business, Mantrak Uganda is able to provide some bit of technical assistance to all our customers. We give training to both customers and local community. We offer maintenance and repair contracts, and we have a clear warranty policy, which is able to even extend to a period of over 4 years for standby applications. We stock spare parts in our operations, and we run a fully fledged parts and product support team. In regards to this project, our capabilities will be mainly the engineering bit of it. We shall do project management on this project. We shall have a stock of parts available on site. We shall provide some customized solutions and be able to do all the logistics, installation, commissioning, maintenance, and operation of the facilities that we intend to set up in the oil fields. The contract we have with Mcdermott is a rental contract where we are supposed to generate about 15 MV of power at peak load, and this will run for a period of about 80 months. So we have started temporary works, and we are committed to doing these works in line with the national local content strategy. And in so doing, Mantrak Uganda will use locally available goods and materials like sand, gravel, and stone from the local community while doing civil works. We shall provide employment opportunities to personnel within the local community while setting up these power plants. We shall also construct a workshop within the community, and we are committed to offering training to community members on soft technical skills on operation and maintenance of power generators. As a company, we have already hired local subcontractors who are registered with the National Supplier database, and we're happy to report that some of them are already on site working. In terms of our planned procurements, our project mainly involves generators. We shall have some transformers on site. We shall have switch gear in the form of changeover switches and distribution boards on site. We shall have some fuel and plumbing materials on site. We shall offer some HSE systems on site. We shall do some waste management systems on site. And we shall also require some tools and equipment to be able to perform our role well. So all these things, some are required and can be procured from the local community. We were required to talk about the procurement process. As a company, we participated in a very transparent and fair procurement process with Mcdermott, and we were awarded a project to supply 15 MV of power. And at the end of the project, we expect rental generators to be deployed on site, and the picture should look like the one we are seeing in this presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nyaika, from Mantrac. I think some of the questions that will be coming are, what can we expect in terms of opportunities for any players that may be in the room from Mantrac, okay? And how can we access some of those opportunities? How can we be able to engage? Ladies and gentlemen, I have just two more who are going to make a presentation, then we can open up the floor to questions and answers. So the next is from Mota-Engil, Uganda. Allow me introduce Ms. Estella Karuhanga, a director at Mota-Engil, Uganda, the head of public relations and the national content manager. She's a business enthusiast and entrepreneur. Estella graduated from St. Mary's University in Canada with a BCom degree majoring in marketing. She went on to acquire a master's degree in international business administration from ESLSCA in Paris. Estella has been part of the oil and gas industry in Uganda from 2014, where she worked as marketing director of OGC Solutions, a training and recruitment agency in the sector. She is proficient and well-versed in marketing and communication. She is dedicated to contributing to grassroots communities and social development, particularly in the space of environment preservation, financial inclusion, and gender empowerment. I will hasten to add that she is the daughter of our chairman, Professor Karuhanga, here. And so I must be seated here as a very proud father and seeing the legacy carrying on. Welcome with me, Madame Estella Karuhanga.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm a bit taken back by that introduction. I would like to start by saying there will be no references to any Peter Parkers or Spider-Man like yesterday, how he did. But yes, I'm here to speak on behalf of Mota-Engil Uganda. My name is Estella, as said, and I am the head of national content. And I think it's only best that we start with a bit of a background, a profile on the Mota-Engil universe. Okay. So, allow me to tell you a story, because I think we like stories in our family. In 1946, a gentleman by the names of Manuel Antonio de Mota, yes, founded this company in Portugal, but we were awarded our first contract in Angola. So 29 years later, we get our first contract in Portugal. And the reason for that highlight in the presentation is so that you understand that national content is truly at the heart of Mota-Engil, even before they came to Uganda. So further down in 2000, the Mota family then partnered with Engil and became Mota-Engil. Well, Sia and Mota partnered with Engil and became Sia and Engil. And what happened with that partnership is Mota-Engil then proceeded to become a leader in construction and waste management, which is not to limit us on how many activities we do. So we at Mota-Engil not only are in engineering and construction, we also are in logistics, we're in logistics, we're in mining, we're in waste management, we're in transport and infrastructure, concessions. So our portfolio is quite big. I know currently in Uganda, we're focusing really on engineering and construction. I know yesterday, Mr. Ernest Ruondo from Petroleum Authority of Uganda talked about tier 1 companies and their turnovers. And we at Mota, as of 2020, had a turnover of $873 million. So we are very hardworking, to say the least. But in 2014, Mota-Engil came to Uganda, and that's when we were awarded our first contract. I think a lot of you probably know us from the Northern Bypass. The first contract was the capacity improvement of the Kampala Northern Bypass. A couple of years later, they partnered with a local construction company and went into a joint venture partnership, and here we are. We've managed to secure a couple of contracts in this industry, but I believe as of today, we are truly focusing on the contract that we were awarded with Mcdermott. So just to focus on this project that we were awarded with Mcdermott, it is the Tilenga General Civil Works contract. And just to give you a brief idea of the scope of work that we are doing, I'd like to say that the engineers who are probably sitting in here, I do not attempt to be an engineer. I am in national content, but I will try and walk you through our scope of work. So, as Mota-Engil, we were asked to do the construction of the foundations, the underground drainage. This includes underground pipes, the manholes and the catch basins, trenches and various concrete basins and other associated pits, backfill roads, chain link fence, the HESCO type fence, and the earth grid. So if you can see in this presentation, there's earthworks and there's the foundation and concrete works. Engineers, if you have any questions, we have our engineers here. They can break this down for you in simpler terms. But I think what is very interesting about this particular slide is just that box over there. It shows you, or it highlights how big these projects are. With, for example, the materials, we have concrete, which is 65,000 cubic meters. That's how much concrete we have. There's reinforcing steel, which is 4,000 tons. And let me try and give you an idea of what that must be like. An elephant, an African elephant in its prime, weighs almost 2.2 tons. So we, for this particular project, need 4,000 tons of reinforcing steel. That's almost 2,000 elephants. And so on and so forth. For example, the anchor bolts, which are 23,000 in number. So now the national content element of this presentation. With national content, of course, as spoken earlier by Barbara from Mcdermott, she highlighted 3 areas in which national content is of most importance. One is manpower. And for this particular project with Mcdermott, Mota-Engil has estimated that we plan to recruit 96% national workers, and 35% will be community workers from the project-affected area. Like Mr. Musinga said earlier, he named all the districts from Budlisa to Noya and as follows. In regards to the breakdown of the 35% of what Mr. Ernest Ruondo told us to move away from saying local content to community content. To break that down, Total has a system that most of us follow that aids in the recruitment of these locals. The system is very transparent. It is foolproof. I think, I'm not aware if anyone has spoken about it, but if you want more information on that, feel free to ask. I think we can walk you through. But continuing with the national content element of it all, procurement. I think a lot of people are wondering, okay, but there's this list underneath here of some materials that we are going to need for this particular project. And for example, let's say sand. And let's say there's someone sitting in the audience who says, I know someone who has sand, how can we be part of this? I'm not sure if you can see that email address, but, okay, wait, let's go back a bit. It is of utmost importance to not only Mota, but for this particular industry that we follow certain, not only procedures, but compliances. If you have equipment, you must make sure you're meeting certain standards. If there are these amounts of equipment that we require, will you be able to sustain us through the contract period for what is currently required? So, as you see there's some lists, and this is not all of it. This is just to give you an idea of what would be required by Mota. There's even services on this list, logistics services. Yes, so logistics services. As Mota-Engil Uganda, we are currently working with certain subcontractors, and just to help break it down a bit more is we've gone out and awarded contracts to certain companies, and these companies have their own, so these companies are Ugandan companies, majority of them are Ugandan owned, or some of them are joint venture partners, and what ends up happening is this is how the trickle-down effect works. So we have been subcontracted work, but then again, we go ahead to subcontract more work. And that's not limiting us to nationwide, it's also bringing us back to the project-affected area. So as Mota, we find opportunities where we can invest in the community in regards not only to products, not only to services, but also products. I don't think you might be able to see, but there's the Albertine water, and that's one of the Bulisa is hot. So water is of utmost necessity there, and the Albertine water is one of our companies that we make sure that we are subcontracting with or getting product from. So yes, in the event that you said, oh, we want to be able to come in and sit with Mota to get work, we must follow compliance procedures. And internally, like I mentioned earlier, it is, can you meet the capacity? But not only that, are you meeting the standards for the particular product that you are trying to lease or to, for example, because we are into construction, when I say lease, it's not only trucks, there's other equipment that's potentially needed. But if you're purchasing reinforcing steel, for example, the 4,000 tons, we're getting that from Uganda, and we need to make sure that you can sustain us through the contract. But to dig deeper into making sure that you're complying, National Supplier Database, it has been sung at the top of everyone's voices. If your company is not registered on the National Supplier Database, please endeavor to do that, number one, before you come. But not only that, there are certain things we require. Actually, to make life simpler, there's a website, an email address at the bottom of this slide. If you're interested, please do take that down. Once you have shown interest in supplying or giving us a service, our team will reach out to you. You will be sent an application form online, and it will basically walk you through what would be required to come onto the Mota-Engil database as a supplier. Finally, yesterday, Mr. Ernest Ruwondo, I keep referring to his presentation, it was great for those who missed it, talked about the other way in which we are adding value. the value retention from these projects. So it's not only in subcontracting, what more are you doing? And of course, trainings are essential in this industry. And not only trainings, but there's the element of also capacity building. What are you doing for the country, but also the area? In regards to training, we at Mota have a lineup of trainings that we make sure all our employees are constantly being run through these trainings. There's the technical and management training. I'll give you an example of, we call it the Last Planner System. It's an international program that we make sure to run our teams through these programs so that they are able to, one, understand where we currently are in the project, two, meet deadlines, because all these projects, I think I'm speaking a bit too much, but I hope you don't mind. But yes, the Last Planner System. So the project, all of us are given durations for these projects. And you are to complete the project in a specific amount of time. But the team also has to understand how pressing these contractual obligations are. So we go through this training system and make sure that everyone on board is aware. This skill is transferable to across the board. So it is not only in construction, it is a transferable skill. But that is not it. That is one of our many trainings. There's even the element, now jumping into capacity building, the element of internships. So we at Mota have a program that we call Start at Mota. And what happens is we reach out to postgraduates and we do an assessment on them, and if they pass the specific assessment, we take them to Tilenga and we work with them for over a year, basically making sure that we are sharpening their skills and adding value retention. So ladies and gentlemen, I think it is about that time that I say thank you very much for lending me your ears, and I hope I have done a okay job.
You have done a very good job. Thank you very, very much. I think we have heard what Mota-Engil has to present, and I do believe, I know that Mota-Engil and so as the rest of the contractors here have booths in the exhibition rooms where you can go and get more information. In the event you didn't get the website or the email that you need to express interest, it would be good to visit. Some key things that have been highlighted here, that Mota-Engil is committed to Ugandan nationals, and 96% of their staff will be Ugandan, 35% from the community in the 6 Albertine Graben districts, which is very, very important. And you're talking about internship opportunities, which I think many of us would be interested in. If we know anyone in university, finishing university, that is something they can consider. Start at Mota, very interesting to get involved in. And also suppliers that know that they have the capacity, they have the standards to sustainably supply Mota-Engil. They've presented what they are looking out for. Very important for us to look out for. So we have one last presentation, then I'll open it for questions and answers. If you have any questions, get your question ready. If you want to have it written down, feel free to write it down and bring it forward. I'll be able to read it for you. And so the last presentation is from Bureau Veritas, and representing Bureau Veritas is Dr. Swarupa Dashpande. She has been working in industrial sector for almost 20 years. She has done her PhD in oil and gas management from the University of Petroleum and Energy Studies in Dehandam in India. Prior to her doctorate, she completed her bachelor's in technology and master's in business management from Pune University in India as well. She has been working with Bureau Veritas for the past 15 years in various roles of oil and gas market segment, 12 years in South Asia region and for the past 3 years in the Africa region as the Africa market leader for oil and gas sector. So she understands oil and gas in Africa, and she's the right person to talk to us about Bureau Veritas's national content commitments. She's involved in various oil and gas upstream and downstream contracts of project certification, third-party inspection, risk assessment studies, and various asset integrity management for offshore platforms, refineries, as well as cross-country pipelines. She is really qualified to be speaking to us today. Doctor, kindly go ahead.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon once again. This is our privilege and pride to be associated with Tilenga project with Mcdermott as a tier 2 contractor. And morning which I was mentioning for various types of certification. So here is with the project certification which I will be briefing on. I think this is off. Okay, let me just see it from my mobile once again. Okay.
Okay, technical team, if you can help with this.
No problem, it's okay, it's fine. So, yeah, talking about Bureau Veritas. So, Bureau Veritas, we call ourselves as business to society company. What does that mean? That is, we help our clients by managing quality, safety, health, and sustainability risk. To benefit to the society, and that is how we contribute positively transforming the world we live in. So this is what is Bureau Veritas Group. Going from global, so globally it is a strong group based out of France and with a total revenue of 5 billion and more. We have a total employee strength of 80,000. Half a million clients, and we have offices in 140 countries, almost 1,600 offices all over. Coming to the region Africa, we have offices in Africa in 45 countries with more than 3,500 employees. And then talking about Bureau Veritas in Uganda. So Bureau Veritas in Uganda was incorporated in 2010, so it's almost more than 11 years. We have our registered number and tax number and our office based in Kampala. So talking about more on Bureau Veritas Uganda. So about Bureau Veritas in Uganda, we have been registered with the National Supplier Database, has certificate of registration and incorporation, has associated with Lifting Equipment Engineers Association, member of Uganda Chamber of Mine and Petroleum, member of the Association of Uganda Oil and Gas Service Provider, and also member of Uganda Manufacturers Association. So Bureau Veritas in Uganda is very well established. Talking about the scope which we are associated with, so with Mcdermott, we are associated for project certification for the entire Package 1 facilities, which involve central processing facilities, power tanks, operational support base camp, and temporary support base and camp. Whatever scope here involved is project certification from entire project life cycle, that means from design till the installation of the project. So here what do? We will be appraising their entire design as per the international standard. We will also ensure to see that Uganda local regulation and local standards are maintained. Also, every equipment which will be procured in the country, whether it is from any of the world or even it is fabricated within Uganda, so we will see to it that it is complying to the standard and specifications, so there will be surveillance and witness at critical stages. During the construction phase, and also during the installation and commissioning phase, that is how Bureau Veritas will be present each time to ensure the compliance. And finally, we will present the certificate of compliance, which will ensure that the entire project is completed as per the specification of the client and the local regulation. So in performing this entire project certification, we had planning. Bureau Veritas Uganda will be taking care from the site activities, that is from the construction phase. But before that, the design appraisal and the procurement of various items and equipment which are procured from worldwide locations. So we have our Center of Excellence, which is the technical center based in Abu Dhabi. Bureau Veritas is having a lot of experiences for the project certification, but the Bureau Veritas Middle East office is selected because of the geographical presence, so it becomes very easy for coordination with the client, and also a central location for Africa, Uganda, and other locations. So this is how is the overall planning. Now talking about how we have complied and how we are taking care of the local content. So local content inclusion is something already Bureau Veritas has been following up for years. So each locations, when we are saying that we are having offices in 140 countries, the basic purpose is to have the local inclusion, development of the local resource, knowledge transfer, and that is how Bureau Veritas has been working. So this was not very difficult for us to comply with. For the local content, which here we have planned, so there are minimum 70% of management employees deployed in the project, and that will be Ugandan citizens, minimum 60% of the technical staff, and minimum 95% of support staff which will be deployed in the project will be Ugandan citizen. As such, Bureau Veritas in Uganda, we have 95% employees which are Ugandan, and there will be few expats only to help in knowledge transfer and other kind of technical support. So talking about the positions which we are already filling, and there are still more requirements, are the project coordinator in the country, welding inspector level 2, coating inspector level 2, NDT inspector level 2. There will be QMS, quality management surveyor, coating specialist, lifting inspector level 2, and there will be some other support like driver, helper, administrator, and technician. So this is how is overall requirement when we are talking of the technicality of the project. For the local procurement, we will ensure to see that the services or the equipment or the part which we would like to source, if it is available locally, and if the estimated cost is more than 20,000 USD, so we will be publishing it in the advertising in the local newspaper as well as company website. And once we will evaluate based on the national content and their other specification, and the selected supplier, once is decided, we will publicly advertise the winner. So this is very transparent procurement process we are following. There will be various kind of services and consumables which we will be needing, right from catering services, electrician, entity consumable, clearing agents, and there will be other supporting services like, stationary vehicle maintenance, courier services, internet, toner, PPE suppliers, tax consultant, banking, clearing agent, mobile company, and so many others. So this is what is all our procurement policy which we are planning for. Coming to the training part. So training, which we have been already doing for past many years, and recently we have accelerated that. The primary aim of the training program is to establish an effective operation that produces long-term employment, and also the objective is for the knowledge transfer and capacity building. So here we will be having some expats from our technical centers, and they will be doing the knowledge transfer to the local resource. But beyond that, there will be training provided to the local employees whom we will be sending to our Abu Dhabi offices, and where they can have more learning. Beyond that, for the local community, we are having memorandum of understanding with UPIC, and through that we have already done some training program for 36 students and above. So for training them, there will be more training plan for welder, structural, welding, scaffolding, supervising, scaffolding rigger, a crane operator, and earth moving operation, electrician. So many technical and non-technical opportunities are available. And I think with this, more or less, I have covered what we are planning and where we will be planning. Any more questions? We are available here. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Deshpande. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we've heard from Bureau Veritas as well. I think they're saying, look, they are committed to employing Ugandans and committed to using Ugandan services. I think you mentioned some services there. You did mention, however, that the Center of Excellence for Bureau Veritas that is handling the Ugandan operations is based in Abu Dhabi. We want to request Foreign on behalf of Uganda that you consider placing a Center of Excellence here in Uganda, since we are committed to, the long haul as part and parcel of your commitment to Uganda. Maybe it's something to think about. So I just want to open it to the audience. Thank you so much for bearing with us, for being with us before lunch. If there are any burning questions, we want to take some burning questions. I'll take 2 or 3 questions from the audience very quickly. So just shoot up your hand. Yes, I have 2 and a lady. So since they say ladies first, I'll start with the lady in yellow right there. Thank you very much. Then the gentlemen who put up their hands on this side.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bridget Atwaire. I'm from Petroc Oil and Gas Services. My question goes to Wednesday Musinga. Are you open to partnerships to companies that do similar services like GCC Services? And how possible is that?
Okay, thank you very much. If we could have the 2 questions on this side.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
My name is Moses Kisembo from Shiloh Farms. My question is to Mr. Wesley Musinga. I'm representing 2 groups here. One is a number of people in the middle class and SMEs in the Albertine who are investing in agroecology projects. The second group is the hundreds of individuals in production. These are all focused on attaining and maintaining safety and quality standards in agriculture production. So they sent me with 2 questions to you. 1, what are the projections you have? List of products and projected quantities. They would like to utilize this information in production planning, because if you're talking of camps in August, production starts way before that. So this information will be utilized in production planning, but also unpacking the requirements to spread opportunity. For you, sir, and your gentlemen, you will have visibility of hundreds of producers knowing what they are producing almost real time on an application or website, what they are producing, the safety and quality standards that they are adhering to, and so on and so forth. I thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll take 1 more, then the questions will be answered, then I'll take another round.
Thank you. My name is Maurice Muhindo. I'm a consultant. Well, the presentations have been very good, but I have one major concern. You're telling us you're giving us a lot of money, which is very good. But now the issue is on taxation. the payment terms, most of all the panelists, they are subcontractors. They tag them to the payment terms of maybe Total. Now, URA will require people to pay their taxes before 15th. Now, how do these lower companies pay taxes yet haven't received payment from you? So can you pass on the same message maybe to the Chamber of Mines and URA and also Total probably to consider giving advance payment which they can use to pay taxes before they close their businesses? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maurice. Very good question on taxation vis-a-vis cash flows and payment terms. I think most of the questions were for you, Mr. Musinga. Kindly go ahead. You can use your mic right there.
Good afternoon once again. So I'll start with the lady from Petro Oil and Gas. That's the company, correct? So her question was, are we still open to partnerships? Yes, we are. We are very open to partnerships and as well as joint venture. Like not only on the current contracts, because we are bidding also for other works. Out of oil and gas, we're also doing some other works. We have space. It's only we need to meet and we'll share our cards after and then we can start it from here. But there's room for partnership. Not only to her, but to everybody in the room. If you think we have space for each other, we can always find where to fit in. Then for the gentleman, the question was about projections. Now, for projections, like the figures I shared here, we need to, I have projections. I can give you simple random figures from here. We shall be operating at the peak 4,000 mills for 4,000 occupants, POB. People on board will be 4,000. Imagine they are doing 3 meals a day. Some will do even, there might be a 4th meal, but look at 3 meals. Let's take a simple example of rice. Rice will have it, let's say, 70% on the meals. So 4,000 times 3, that's about 12,000 meals a day. If you do 70% of that will have some rice in it. So you can, that's a rough estimate of how much rice we'll need. It will be big, but I have the figures, you can always come, we share, because we have projections for FFVs, we have projections for cold cuts and poultry that we'll need. We have projections for everything, the dry rations that we'll need. So it depends on what you want exactly, then we can share with you the figures, then you can go and do the necessary. There's still room for, we are still buying, we're still recruiting more suppliers, and you're always welcome. There's a booth outside for GCC. As soon as we leave, I can share with you the card, my card, and then we start from there.
Okay.
Then the question was about URA. I don't think it concerns me.
It somehow does. It actually concerns all the contractors here, and probably also Mcdermott needs to bear this in mind. I think the question here is this, that if payment terms are 30 days, 45 days, 60 days, 90 days, okay, to the tier 3 contractors, but the tier 3 contractor has raised an invoice, and the moment they raise an invoice, URA is expecting their 18% VAT to be remitted, okay, in that within 15 days, give or take. So there comes, these tier 3 contractors now get into a cash flow conundrum. And so he was saying, I think he was saying, how about considering an advance, okay, or other mechanisms? I believe that's, I don't know if you, yeah.
Let me try and attempt to answer that. The scenario is like this. GCC, I'll give you an example of GCC. We will serve meals at the end of the 30 days, invoice Mcdermott. Mcdermott, contractually, some of these I'm not supposed to reveal here, but okay, minimum, it will take also 30 days for us to get paid. So that's about 60 days for GCC to get payment. So we need also a supplier who can stand with us. It's a back-to-back agreement. It's what we want to do, because I also need cash flows to run the business, not only food because there's maintenance, as well as we have banks which have come and approached us. I'll tell you when we can give you more information. Banks which have approached us, they want all our suppliers that we recruit to, once we have a contract with you, we introduce you to this bank, then you can take it from there. There's discounted invoicing. There's, they can give you also a small percentage, at a lower interest rate, because they know who you're dealing with, but only don't default and say, because I'm working for GCC. So we can also see how we can discuss and favor each other. Maybe we can give you an advance of maybe 30% on your invoice. Thank you very much.
Okay, you, Doctor? Go ahead.
Hi. So I'm going to say this, but caveat it to say I'm not a tax expert, so don't hold me to this. I will just talk from our experience. So clearly, what GCC referenced, right? So we are working also with local banks, and we have introduced some of our suppliers. And as we work together, we will also do that. We'll introduce you to banking partners, and there are instruments like discounting facilities, short-term loans that the banks are ready and they're prepared to offer. However, I will say cash is king at the end of the day, right? And it's really also about proper planning. If you have to pay the URA 15 days after, sorry, the 15th of the next month after the invoice is issued. So you plan your invoicing and your cash process such that the 15 days after is not at a disadvantage. The 15th of the next month is not at a disadvantage to the timing of the cash flow or cash input from us, which is also pegged to the cash input from our contractor. What I would also add, as a second-tier contractor, we are in the same boat pretty much. We understand the challenges of even securing some of these instruments. So we have to manage our own risks, but what we have also done is some sensitivity and understanding of the needs of the local suppliers or the community suppliers. So where, for example, we defer, because we know there have been challenges to get performance guarantees, for example, and in some of the contracts we've signed, we defer the performance guarantee until after you've received at least 2 or 3 payments from us. So these are some of the, the ways that we have tried to be understanding and supportive of the suppliers. But I would really advise to, really think about the planning aspect so that, for example, have to pay taxes on the 15th of the next month. If you plan properly your cash outflow and all of that, if you send the invoice on the 1st or 2nd, right? You have then you have more breathing space until you are able to then balance the cash flow challenges or discrepancy between what you receive and then when you have to pay to the URA. But again, talk to your tax advisor, please. Don't take this as tax advice.
Very good. Thank you very much. And we are all in the right place. The tax consultants are here. The lawyers are here. URA is coming in this afternoon. They're going to be making a presentation. The contractors are here. They have booths in the exhibition lounges. Please approach them. Let's have these conversations. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready into lunch time. You will allow me bring this session to a close. And I want to just give our panelists, each and every one of them, just half a minute, 30 seconds, to give your parting shots, especially assuring the people in this room that you're committed to them. You're committed to national content. You're committed to saying, look, come, let's talk. Where can we find you? Where can we have these conversations? Because we all came to this convention so that we can get into good deals and make money at the end of the day. That's what we're here for. We are not doing charity. If we can start with the lady, with Rebecca over here.
Well, absolutely. As we said before, we are fully committed to the local content requirements. We've been here for 10 years or more already and have proven experience in delivering that training. Case Hospital have their hospital in Kampala. Dr. Fowles is available for everybody to go and knock on his doors, and all of the contact details were on our presentation, which we'll share with everybody later on. So,
very good. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you very much, and thank you everybody for giving us your time. We're here, we're committed to building, to delivering our project, but also to creating a national, a regional champion. And I think this is a great opportunity for everyone in this room to seize the moment. And we'll work together to create champions, regional champions, out of this opportunity that I've been given.
Thank you. Mr. Nyaika.
Thank you everyone. As Mantrak Uganda, we are committed to the National Content Strategy Plan, and our location is 7th Street Industrial Area. We are committed to developing the local suppliers and supporting them in overcoming the challenges experienced in executing business. Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Disham.
Hello. Yeah, as committed, we are here today, each day. So we are available. We have a booth upstairs for Bureau Veritas, so you can come anytime and have discussion with us. Otherwise, we have our Bureau Veritas office and team. We have our regional chief executive, Cyprian Kabis, who is available here. So any moment you feel, you can connect us over email, through phone, and or any other face-to-face meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Madame Estella.
Thank you, everyone. It's working. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for lending us your ears. We'd like to reassure you at Mota, our doors are open to absolutely every one of you. Our head of procurement is in the building as well. You can rush to him, but do not feel limited. We have our MD here as well, and a whole team willing to give you all the information you require. And we look forward to really making sure that national content is implemented at its best.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Musinga.
Hello. Thank you very much. Based on the figures we gave you, those are our KPIs. We're not forging them. Those are our KPIs to both POW and their commitment to the local content. We're sticking to them. And we're still welcoming suppliers. Feel free to contact us on our booth outside. There are cards, there are numbers. You can always get in touch. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, as we come to an end of this session, I think the message is clear. This train of oil and gas is already on the tracks. First tier is aware and gone. Second tier, they're right here. And they're saying that there are opportunities for tier 3, which we can take advantage of. The people in camp services are saying, look, if you can provide us what we need for the next number of years, sustainable demand will be able to get into contract with you. Not just a one-off, not hit and run. They're here for a marriage. So let's take this opportunity. If this opportunity passes us by, like Mr. Ernest Rubondo said yesterday, within 3, 4, 5 years from today, we'll look back and start wondering what happened, while others grab the opportunity and run with it. So all these suppliers and many more, and Mcdermott are here in the exhibition lounges. Let's engage, let's talk, let's have the conversations. Yes, let's have the conversation. I want to invite our chairman. He wants to say something as we close. Maybe if I can have a microphone, just passed on to him. But even as he comes up to wrap up this session, I want to thank you for being a good audience. I want to remind you that lunch is at the helipad after here. And my name remains Humphrey Asimwe from Multilines International, a regional freight forwarding, logistics and transport company. It was nice having you. I want to invite Honorable Carol Hanga to say something.
Thank you, Humphrey. No, I really demanded for the microphone because I want to make it absolutely clear that this session is the fulcrum of the entire conference. It might not be so apparent to everyone, but the truth of the matter is that when we think about the opportunity in oil and gas, we think about Total and Sinok. When you break it down to the first tier, that is Sinopec and Mcdermott, and as we hear in the afternoon on the pipeline, but when you go down to the next contractor, remember, they want to make profit at Total and the government. So as you go down, they keep squeezing you to provide services at a cheaper price so that the profit can be made by government from its oil, because the major shareholder. So the next tier also squeezes you to provide a service cheaper so they can make a little profit. And as you go down, 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 you are squeezing to get the last juice. So as you come down, you have very little profit. Now, once you take that into account, so where is the real problem? The problem is, again, government. And why? It is tax. As you heard from Mr. Musinga, if he's going to buy food from a village somewhere in Kapchorwa, he has to buy it at the cheapest possible price, and he needs it sustained. But as he buys, URA immediately invoices. And the only person who is forgiven tax is Total and Sinok. The rest of subcontractors are supposed to pay tax. So if you raise the invoice and you pay tax, and you go now to tier 1, let's say to Camot, by the time Camot doesn't pay you, you start saying that Camot doesn't pay. Or Mota-Engil doesn't pay subcontractors. And the reason is because there is a gap. And by the time you get paid by Total, and as you had 60 days, actually it's not 60 days, it's 90 days. By that time, the supplier in Kapchorwa is going to be having a riot against GCC. So when you have a meeting this afternoon with URA, all of you, please, raise your voices so that they understand that this business cannot be done in the usual way. You have done an invoice, pay tax. You have no money. Nobody has paid you anything. You have only supplied goods or services, and you are waiting to be paid. And you are not going to be paid now, you're going to be paid minimum 30 days. And if you have gone to the bank, it is even worse, because there they have to pay for you your performance guarantee, and they are charging you. So the whole of this industry today, that's why I called this as the real serious conference of this month. Because in the end, it is about being paid. It's about providing service, being paid. And the person stopping you is the tax person. And the person who is forgiving tax is the big person. The small person is being taxed. So what have we done when we realized this? We've written a letter on your behalf to URA and to the Ministry of Finance as a Chamber of Mines and Petroleum, pointing out this huge lacuna. Lacuna is the word we like to use in law. This gap. The government hasn't understood business. And today I was seeing some member of parliament saying that we are not screaming against the government. We are screaming, but we don't have to go public. But I'm asking you now, join us, because we are your chamber. Join us and scream when you meet URA. So I'm drumming support of the chamber so that URA can hear us. But thank you very much for giving me the microphone.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dr. Karuhanga. I think the war cry has been heard this afternoon when we have URA here. Let us remind them we are doing business, we are compliant to pay taxes, but they need to understand how our business cycle operates. And they need to be able to, in as much as, like Honorable Karanga said, the big boy is forgiven, okay? He has this tax exemption, but the rest of us down the road, we pay full, and we are charged immediately. No, let's join in with the chamber, let's make this hard. But thank you very much. Let's give a big hand clap to our panel this afternoon. Much appreciated to GCC, Mota-Engil, Bureau Veritas, Mantrac, KB, and Uganda United Healthcare and Case Hospital. Lunch is down at the helipad. We should be back in at most 30 minutes for the next session. Bon appetit.